Valeria asked me, how and when did you find out that I was adopted? I always knew. Okay, that sounds weird, because I was a baby. But the thing was that my parents never hid the fact that I was adopted from me, and as well, it was blatantly obvious. So, um, I just I always knew. My parents always told me that well, they told me I was adopted, and we were open about it with other people, like at school and whatever. When kids would ask me like, "Why do you look different than Theo, your brother?" and I would say because I'm adopted, or my parents would tell their parents, "Oh, like Kira's adopted," blah blah blah. And I think the fact that they never hid that from me, and my parents were very open about it with me from a young age. There was no point where I realized, oh my God, like I'm adopted. And it was this really big, dramatic, emotional ordeal. It was that I just always knew. And I was okay with that. And my family was okay with that. And I grew up in an area before I moved here where I was surrounded with quite a few female adoptees from China as well. And they were all really around my age. And that was pure luck, really. And because my parents are older, a lot of the other girls, and because the other girls, the other adoptees, their parents were older as well, we were all adopted. We all had older parents. I just felt like I could really connect with them, and it made growing up as an adoptee easier, and I'm really grateful that I had that. A lot of other Chinese adoptees don't, and I know that a lot of them struggle with kind of being unique or being like the only one who's different. But because I was with so many other girls who were the same kind of different as me, it made being adopted easier, and understanding that I always kind of knew ever since I was young. So it was easier for me than a lot of other adoptees, for sure. Okay, and Julie asked me, what are your thoughts on Mother's Day and Father's Day? I don't really feel that different on Mother's Day and Father's Day. For those of you who don't know, Julie is a Chinese adoptee as well. I It's really not different for me. Actually, my parents will usually have a kind of like a toast to my birth parents or birth mother, birth father, just because they understand that without my birth parents, I wouldn't be here. And um, I really I really enjoy that they acknowledge their existence, and the fact that without them, yeah, I wouldn't be here right now. um, but I don't really feel that different on Mother's Day or Father's Day. Yeah, I do think about my birth parents a little more. Just like, if I was living with them still, what that would be like. Would we even celebrate Mother's Day or Father's Day? I don't even think, and I don't know in China if they have a like an official Mother's Day or Father's Day. Um, but for right now, like, it's kind of like my brain doesn't really fully comprehend that my birth parents are out there, just because I've never met them and I've never had any contact with them. Um, and that the chance of finding them is so small. It kind of makes it not that I don't really acknowledge that they do exist, because I know that they're probably out there somewhere, but I just don't really think about it too much in detail, really, like really, really, really think about it, just because I love my family right now, and on Mother's Day and Father's Day, it should be 98% about them, because they're the ones who raised me and shaped me to who I am now. So it doesn't take away from the importance or the existence of my birth parents, but I just think that I don't necessarily think of them that like too much on Mother's Day and Father's Day. I think more about my parents now than I do to them. So yeah, it's not really that different for me. I just go about it and celebrate, but yeah, it's pretty normal. Oh, Montana asked me a really good question. She asked me, "Do you ever feel angry that you were put up for adoption?" And I wouldn't necessarily say like I have like full on rage about it, but I think they're more mixed emotions. Mixed emotions like sadness and um, confusion. A lot of confusion, a lot of questions, which equals to confusion. And then yeah, I agree that there's definitely anger in there. Um, I think for me personally, because I know every adoptee is different, but I think for me, um, I'm more curious. I'm more curious of why they put me up for adoption than anger and the fact that they abandoned me. Because a lot of adoptees do feel that way. So for me personally, I'm more curious about the reasoning behind it than just being angry because they did it. Because who really knows why they had to do it? Maybe it was something out of their control that they just, they couldn't handle. And I can't be necessarily angry at them for that. Of course, you're going to have your own human emotions. But for me, I'm not really angry right now. I'm more confused and more curious. So yeah, that's where I stand. Montana also asked me, would you ever consider adopting? Yes, yes, and yes. I have thought about it. Like obviously me being an adoptee, I do think about for my own children, if I do have kids, if I would want to adopt. And the answer is 100%. I have thought about it, and I would like to adopt. That doesn't necessarily mean that I want to adopt from China, but yeah, I would like to adopt, and I hope that other people adopt as well, because there's so many kids in the world who need love and who need attention and care, and I just think that the world is already overpopulated, and you know why I understand the reasoning why people would want to have biological children. I do, but at the same time, like, yes, you can have your own child, but maybe adopt a child too. That doesn't mean that you're gonna love the child any less. And as well, you would be helping out the world immensely, really. So yes, I have thought about it, and I really would like to adopt.